Hello dreamers, welcome back to the Awakening Movement channel where we take deep dives into spiritual topics like lucid dreaming and metaphysics in general. We are here today to discuss another dream symbol. I've been really working with this particular dream symbol myself, and I thought that it would be great to share what I understand and what I've studied about this specific symbol. Symbol is the Anima and Animus. So you ask yourself, what is that? What's an anima? What's an animus? Well, an anima and an animus are both the inner male for a woman, which would be the animus, and the inner female, the anima for a male. Now, this particular symbol is developed throughout one's life. Some people will say that it's based off of your caregivers, and that's your primary mold for your anima or animus. And then some people will say that that it's based off of particular people. I believe that it is based off of several people throughout the lifespan. So your mom and your dad would be the biggest influence, yes. However, you can have other influential men and women in your life who help shape that anima or animus. So in one's life, you'll come across a very loving man, you'll have a loving grandfather, for example, or you'll have a friend in high school who's very rebellious, and he goes against the grain, and it is a collection of those particular individuals that come together that create this anima or animus figure. So each one of us, a male has an inner female and a female has an inner male. It's kind of the yin and yang principle, right? And in one's life, part of your journey and your experience of wholeness will come through integration of this aspect of yourself. Lots of times, we will have dysfunctional anima and animus figures within ourselves, and that will be very, very obvious in the dreamscape. It's one of the best ways to kind of clearly see how our inner female or how our inner male, how their state of being is. And for me, in my dreams, I've had a lot of dreams of dysfunctional animus figures. That inner male is scaring me. I'm running away from them, and sometimes the male will appear as different people, but usually my closest relationships is who the animus will take on their the way that they look, because they're trying to get your attention. So I have had, again, I've been afraid. I've been inside of my house, right, which is a representation of the self. If you haven't seen that video, go ahead and click that video to understand the symbolic meaning behind the house. So I'll be in my house and there'll be an animus figure at my door, knocking on the door really loudly, trying to get in, and I'm not wanting to let them in. I'm avoiding them at all costs. They will be stealing from my own inner feminine, from my representation of the feminine. They will be hurting others. Just creating a lot of chaos, and that's something that in my life I've been wanting to do personal work on. And recently, actually, I was able to get into a state of lucidity in dreams, and I was able to ask the question, or to make the statement, rather, that I would like to integrate my divine masculinity, and I went through a whole journey there of integration, and I can make another video about that. But with that, I was able to get a little bit closer and a little more whole and integrated in that process. And I've noticed that my dreams since have been a little different. It's interesting to the change in the dreamscape that's taken place. So again, for a woman, you might see this as your father, you might see this as your husband or your boyfriend. It might be a grandfather figure. It might be a random man of a particular ethnicity. there's going to be ways that this is going to show up for you, and the importance of becoming aware of that inner male and not getting upset when you wake up in the morning because your partner was cheating on you in the dreamscape, and realizing that that's actually a representation of yourself, and that your animus is actually just trying to get your attention because they seek to be fully integrated within your persona, within your psyche, within yourself. For example, the act of cheating or having, whether it be intercourse with someone else, another woman in your dream if you're a woman, or it be just, them not being maybe the most respectful to your relationship and maybe flirting, for example. Those are all different ways that the animus is trying to let you know, hey, I want your attention, and I'm gonna do it in the way that's gonna piss you off the most, by being your husband or your boyfriend and cheating on you, or flirting with form of cheating with this woman, because that's gonna gain your attention. Now, it's important to remember when you wake up that you don't take it out on your partner and make them the evil one, right? Like, oh, you did this in my dream. Well, no, really, it's seeking to be integrated as the male within yourself. So there's that. And for men, you'll see it as a woman, right? So it might be grandmother, it might be your mother, it might be your girlfriend, your sister, your cousin, a teacher. I mean, it can appear in various ways. Sometimes for men, it'll appear as a witch when it is dysfunctional, trying to control them, treating them maybe in a way where they're afraid to be rejected. A lot of this stuff does come back down to your parents, and just being a young child, a human being, and not wanting to be rejected by your mother, because the reality is that if you, as an animal, if your mother is rejecting you, the likelihood of you dying increases. So being left out in the cold increases. So you might avoid the anima. For men, the avoidance of the anima creates more issues. For example, if you just think about it in this way, where when you don't pay attention to your feelings and you kind of push them away and then they fall down into the unconscious, those feelings eventually will turn to moods, because the emotional state has fallen deep within, or just at the shallow point of the unconscious. And now there is no solid connection as to why you were feeling that way. Now it's this kind of general mood. And when we don't take responsibility for our feelings and talk about them, they turn into moods, these pervasive moods that can really impact our relationships in waking life. So what you'll see is a reflection in the dream world of a dysfunctional, moody, witch-like anima for men. And the importance of integrating her and basically moving toward her, because she seeks to integrate and become whole and live through you. And through that practice of lucid dreaming, that's actually a way to streamline that process. You can also do things like, whether it be for your anima or animus, dream journaling, journaling just in general, and having a dialogue using what Carl Jung called active imagination to start writing and making this conversation a reality. And rather than second guessing yourself and wondering, was this BS? Am I just making this up? Just going with it and allowing it to come out, so you can ask questions like, what are you feeling right now? Why are you upset? And then write back the response from the anima or animus, and then go back and forth and have that dialogue, because that dialogue will take you to a very real answer. To go back to the animus for women, the animus for women tends to, for men, it creates moodiness, a pervasive mood of reproachfulness, and with that can really kind of impact how a man feels. And if a man is unable to talk about his feelings in the waking world, you'll see that manifest in his feelings in the waking world, because the anima is truly behind that. She is behind those feelings with the man, and the moody feelings. And she will exaggerate, especially if you don't deal with your feelings. They drop into the unconscious, and then they become the animas to take. And you'll see it in your waking reality with like real intense moods, and then in the dreaming world you will see it in that same kind of witch-like, powerful witch-like way, where your moods will be taken over. Well, her moods will express in the dreams as maybe nightmares or very uncomfortable situations, again seeking that wholeness and that unity. So for women, you're going to see a lot of behaviors where you're making judgments and you're saying you should do this, and you ought to do this. Like there's this casting of judgment and overgeneralizations of opinions that are not. That's what the animus does for women, that are not necessarily yours. So part of that is learning as a woman what you stand for, what matters to you, and what is important to you. And then when you do have that dialogue with the animus, that you are able to start to identify what matters to you, and let the animus know, like, this is what matters to me, this is what it's going to be, and I would like for you to stop telling me this. I would like for you to stop telling me I should, or I would like for you to stop judging, fill in the blank. Doing these things in the waking reality can be really helpful. In your dreams, you will see a reflection in that. So just being aware that every man has an inner woman, and every woman has an inner man, and these will be very obvious for you in the dream world, in the dreamscape. Being aware that when we see the opposite of ourselves in manifested in the form of a man or a woman, that we understand that this is a part of ourself, a fragment of ourself that is seeking wholeness, and being able to integrate that aspect, that inner male, that inner female, to fully begin to develop that true sense of self. This is a part of that journey, and doing this will help with that integration aspect. It is a part of one of the many paths that you can take to your own spiritual, fuller self, right? Your higher self. So inner man is really a reflection of yourself, and inner female is a reflection of yourself. You will see, for example, for me, I am a woman, so I see my female aspect, and she's very developed. She typically lives in a big house with lots of friends who support her, and she is a career woman or a business woman. She tends to be wealthy and very regal and elegant. And in the past, not so much anymore, because I've been I'm very blessed with the ability to become lucid. And I've also been I've been very persistent with my lucid dreaming practice. I don't let it go away, that I've been able to help this inner male, and he's actually gone into a little bit of a dormant phase right now. A lot of my dreams are just of females, and it's very interesting because it's just recently happened to me, becoming lucid about a week ago, and asking for that integration of my divine masculinity, and it's a little dormant now, and I'm really excited to see how he reemerges, and how I can interface and interact, and what messages that inner male is going to bring for me, and how that's going to generalize into my day-to-day life, and how that will change who I am, or who I am expressing myself to be. So I'm very excited for that aspect. But yes, like I said, he is now dormant, so I'm not quite sure what he looked like, but in the past he's looked pretty beat up and raggedy and run down, and that's typically a dysfunctional animus because of maybe traumas I had in the past. And we all have traumas, and they're going to impact us in one way or another. And practicing dreaming and dream journaling can be a really insightful way into ourselves, what we've experienced, and what is seeking to be healed within the psyche and the self. So with that, that is my whole interpretation of the whenever you see a man or a woman in your dreams, and how that ties back to yourself and represents aspects of yourself that maybe are seeking healing or are very developed, and you can see where your strengths lie, and then you can see where your challenges are. So that is my spiel on the inner woman and the inner man, the anima and the animus, and I thank you for visiting my channel again. I love sharing this information. It's what I do. Lucid dreaming is my practice for almost 5 years now. It is my area of study. I love it. If I can share with anyone and I can help in any way for you to understand your dreams, you can always reach out to me. I respond to my comments, so make sure to comment if you do have a question. Hit like and subscribe if you'd like to see more of these videos posted. I will be coming in periodically, and I don't post every day or every week, but I do. When I do post, it's typically once a month, maybe every few weeks. But I will consistently be bringing content within a schedule that fits my lifestyle right now. So with that, I thank you very much for watching and getting to the end of the video. I wish you a wonderful, profound, deep rest, and I hope that your brightest lucid dreams come true. Thank you.